Yes, we will be. We're putting up a change to the bill, or the sunset clause that would come about after 12 months. It would be subject to an independent review and a change of the legislation, after which time the current law, which we expect to go through this week, would become redundant.
You've spoken to Peter Dunn about trying to get him to support it?
I have spoken to Peter Dunn in the past, but we haven't had a discussion about the SOP yet.
What support do you have on that at the moment?
Well, obviously we have support from the Greens, obviously, for an independent review. That's their policy as well, and we would like to think that that would be a sensible way to go forward. We have a full independent inquiry, and then we put forward new law, and from that new law would come in within 12 months of this current bill going through.
Have you spoken to any other parties about it?
We've spoken, as I say, we're putting it forward. We've spoken to the Greens about some of their issues, but right now no other parties have them.
Are you going to filibuster? Are you going to try and fight and keep this bill from passing as long as possible?
Well, we would obviously like the committee stages to go past this evening into Thursday. It'll be up to the government then whether they want to pass this under urgency. They've rushed the bill through already. I wouldn't put it past them to push it through under urgency as well. It would be subject to their form.
Some people might just say that's political game playing. The public don't tend to like filibustering. What do you say to that?
Look, this is a bad bill. We don't believe it's a good bill. And by putting it off further, I mean, it gives the public a bit more chance to have a really good look at it. So I don't make any apologies for that. That's one of the few things that we're able to do as an opposition.
Do you think it was worthwhile sitting down with Peter Dunn and trying to bring him round to your point of view?
Well, Peter Dunn seems to be pretty much of the other point of view from what I've seen. He said he had a vote to sell, and Mr Key was a vote buyer. That's how he characterised the way that he negotiated around this bill. I think Peter Dunn has shot his credibility around GCSB and all the other issues around at the moment.
He claims he hasn't got any concessions as a result of giving the government his vote. Do you believe that?
Well, no, I don't believe that, because I was told, certainly by both the Prime Minister and others, that he had been given quite a few concessions, and they will be coming forward in the Parliament today.
Did you sense those were concessions other than the SOP that he was going to put forward?
My understanding was that as John Key put it, they were throwing a few things at Peter Dunn to get him across the line, and as a result of that, Peter Dunn did get across the line. So, unfortunately, that's the way he has decided to play this. I don't think it's the right way forward, but nevertheless, that's his way.
What do you think of the way he's decided to play this?
Well, I mean, given the events that have been going on over the last few weeks, his taking up a complaint about his emails being read, for example, he is now supporting a bill where John Key is going to be responsible not only for the running of GCSB, but its overall oversight on top of that as well. If he doesn't think John Key's done a good job on the issue of his emails and Andrea Vance's emails, having confidence that somehow the GCSB will be run better as a result of this legislation is actually pretty surprising.
On Fonterra, do you think that this episode is perhaps a wake-up call for New Zealand about its, putting too many eggs in one basket in terms of dairy?
Well, look, New Zealand has 28% of its export earnings come from dairy. It's been a fantastic earner for us, but we've always said that our economy needs to be much more diverse, both for the problems of vulnerability, as we've seen over the last couple of days, but also because manufacturing and high-tech industries in New Zealand create the jobs that keep young New Zealanders in this country, whereas putting milk powder into containers is not a job-intensive type of industry. It's not the sort of industry that creates those high-value, well-educated jobs that we're trying to grow here.
So would Labour look at the monopoly structure that allows Fonterra to operate as it does?
Look, I think there's a number of questions that need to come up as a result of this, of what's going on at the moment.
Is that one of them?
I think, look, there's a whole range of issues. Bigger questions around the time it's obviously taken for this issue to come out. But the most important thing today, and for the next couple of days, is to reassure parents in particular possess infant formula, both here and overseas, and our export markets, that New Zealand is still a safe producer of food.
One news agency has criticised the government's handling in terms of the broader handling, saying that sort of free market hands-off approach to trade hasn't worked, that that's part of the problem, that there are systemic problems with New Zealand's trade. Is that a worry? Well,
it is a real worry. I mean, this whole issue is a real worry for our branding, and the fact that we command premium prices because our product is said to be safe. The real worry now is that we are going to have to work very, very hard to overcome that perception. But the other issue is, of course, when the communication keeps changing day after day, it does put further doubt in people's minds whether Fonterra is really a top one.
Has this damaged our relationship with China?
Look, I think we've got to work very hard on our relationship with China. We have got an excellent relationship, but there's been damaged as a result of this. We need to be working very hard, and that means everybody from our side as well, working very hard to restore that relationship.
Would a Labour government review the Fonterra model?
I'm not sure that we would go so far as reviewing the entire model, but we certainly need to be looking at the safety and the kind of protocols that are in place that have enabled not only this but the DCD, for example, issue that happened earlier on in the year.
You say that there needs to be more diversity in the market. How could that look, or how should that look?
Oh, look, I think our manufacturing industry, we came out with a manufacturing report just a few weeks ago, sets out some of the changes that we would like to make as a Labour government, but also we've got very good high-tech companies out there that are doing really well and that could do with more assistance and more support.
How do you think Fonterra has handled this crisis?
Look, I think there's a bunch of questions we need to be asking Fonterra. I think that's for another week until we can get into that, but right now we need to be working alongside Fonterra, both the government and Fonterra, to ensure that we reassure parents and our overseas markets that we do produce good quality food.
But Fonterra is beginning to look like a quasi-government organisation now.
Well, obviously one of the issues that needs to come up is the issue of its relationship with the Ministry of Primary Industries and why it took so long for the issue that's come up in the last few days to make an impact on that ministry.
Are you concerned about a lack of transparency in Fonterra over this and the DCP issue?
Well, I think there's a bunch of questions that need to be asked about Fonterra and the way that it works. And right now, we need to be making sure that we reassure those markets and those people who are buying our product. But the questions need to be delved into about why it is that Fonterra's had so many missteps.
How long should we wait before asking those questions?
Oh, I think it's in a matter of days, but first things first, we need to make sure that we are upfront, as transparent as possible, and we front foot what is going on here so that we are able to give real confidence to those foreign markets and also to parents.
Labour passed the legislation that created Fonterra, so you must be having some second thoughts.
Look, we did that, obviously, because it created a company which has been immensely good for New Zealand. And I think New Zealanders as a whole are very, very proud of Fonterra. But with that sort of ability to create Fonterra comes responsibility, and they need to be responsible because they do represent New Zealand as a whole and our branding. It's not just about milk powder, it actually extends into wider products as well.
Well, if they've got the statutory protection to be a monopoly, do you think there's some type of call for some kind of parliamentary oversight of them?
Oh, look, we need to look at what happened in this particular case and the issues around food safety. We've had food safety, for example, and biosecurity enveloped into a Ministry of Primary Industries. It's a large bureaucracy now. I want to also make sure that those particular departments have been able to maintain their ability to do their job properly.
Do we need a commission of inquiry into those issues of that magnitude?
Look, I do think we need to take a very, very close look at what's happened. It does need to be outside of Fonterra. It can't simply be an internal process. But exactly what, I think we need to think about that in the coming days. But as I say, right now, I stand by the government in making sure that we restore our relationships with those important trading partners.
And should we be looking at a permanent presence for MPI inside Fonterra?
That's another option. But I think whatever we do, when we ask those questions and how we do it, some of those recommendations will come out and we need to follow up on those. Thanks very much, Susan.